our chairmanship is assiduously promoting this, and we believe that India has a very important role to play when it comes to achieving this purpose. Again, it's an opportunity for India to show its support for ASEAN unity and centrality. The sources of regional tension that are top of mind now, certainly including the South China Sea.
During this important interview, I'll begin by asking you about the relationship. India-Philippines ties have witnessed remarkable relationship in recent years. We have seen momentum in defense, in maritime cooperation, in economic engagement. Where do you see the relationship going forwards, and which sector holds the most important, which is the most important sector of the relationship?
Well, thank you very much, and again, greetings to the viewers of ANI. As you said, India-Philippines relations just hitting such high points, of late, especially over the past 3 years. Our trade hit the 3 billion mark first time in 2023, and now we're already approaching the 4 billion mark. President Marcos was here. We did the Brahmos. So just so many high points. So now we're looking forward to what's the next high point, and there are of course many, but I think our immediate goal in the strategic partnership declaration is to impart a qualitative and strategic. And I think this calls for the exploration of new areas of convergence. And for me personally, I would like to see the Philippines and India leverage more our developing and expanding capacities in technology, especially in the electric vehicles industry. The Philippines is one of the top. We have one of the highest global reserves of nickel, for instance, and in nickel laterite deposits, you would have some cobalt in it as well. So this is very ideal for electric vehicles, for EVs, for EV batteries, and I think the complementarity there is India has processing capability, and we would like to see, and in the Philippines has the raw material. And in the Philippines, we want to go up the value chain when it comes to nickel ore, producing higher value versions of that. So that's one of many areas that I see. Higher value electronics also. The Philippines has, for maybe at least 50 years, been part of the global semiconductor, a major player in the semiconductor circuit, if I may call it that. Although we've been specializing in the downstream sectors of the ecosystem, and now that India is also developing its semiconductor project, there may be spaces for complementation there. So I think. Aside from the usual areas of agriculture, raw materials, it's high time that the two countries also begin setting their sights on higher value-added, higher technology fields.
Right. I'll come to the meetings later on, but I'll ask you about a very important thing that Philippines is the chair for ASEAN this year. So, what are the key priorities for Philippines as the chair?
So the Philippines, we as chairman of ASEAN, we have chosen the theme "Navigating Our Future Together." I mean, just to highlight the fact that we're all in this, together, and we share the same fate. Whatever geopolitical factors come to bear on our realities, ultimately we have to solve them as well. And so under this theme. The Philippines has identified 3 priorities. So we call them peace and security anchors. The other one is prosperity corridors. Then the next one is people empowerment. And that reflects the pillars of ASEAN, political security, the economic integration, the economy, and all the socio-cultural pillars of ASEAN. But I think in practical terms, this means supporting economic integration, digital transformation for our MSMEs, supporting supply chain resilience, and especially, given the current crisis in West Asia, energy and even food security. And we believe that our chairmanship I mean, our chairmanship is assiduously promoting this, and we believe that India has a very important role to play when it comes to achieving this purpose. I mean, India has always supported ASEAN centrality. We have a convergence of views in our views on the Indo-Pacific, no, the IPOI and the ASEAN outlook. India supports the ASEAN Master Plan on connectivity. We have an ASEAN-India Plan of Action, and so I think as we enter the halfway mark of our term, I believe that and we've hosted ASEAN summits and now the ASEAN foreign ministers meetings and related meetings. I believe that we're making some progress with our priorities, and we look forward to the next 6 months delivering as much as we can on these goals.
External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar is expected to travel to Manila, sir, for the ASEAN meetings. Do you have any confirmation from India's side? And also, what significance does Manila hold from this visit, and what do you expect, for the bilateral relationship?
Well, the meeting is already this week, so we look forward to welcoming His Excellency Dr. Jaishankar to Manila. We see the significance of this on two fronts. Certainly, while the meeting is ASEAN related principally, so the obvious significance of it is, again, it's an opportunity for India to show its support for ASEAN unity and centrality, and its support for the ASEAN-India comprehensive strategic partnership, to achieve the goals of our new plan of action and to move forward on this ASEAN-India agenda, including the review of the ITIGA, promoting maritime security. But certainly, it has a very strong bilateral complexion for us as well. I mean, regardless of the ASEAN context, it's very much welcome from the Philippines' perspective, bilaterally, as Philippines-India, to have Dr. Jaishankar again visit the Philippines. I mean, this would mean, by my reckoning, that Dr. Jaishankar shall have been in Manila, biennially since 2022, since his first visit. He was in Manila 2022 and then 2024 and now 2026. And we hope that this pattern continues. If not, even a narrower gap between visits. He's always welcome. He's always a good. It's always a good meeting, and the EAM makes such very valuable, supportive statements of the Philippines every time he's in town. So we look forward to his presence there.
Excellency, economic resilience and securing supply chains have become central outcome of ASEAN-related meetings and also Indo-Pacific. Is ASEAN looking to deeper cooperation on supply chain diversification, critical minerals, and what partnership do you look with India?
I think certainly it goes without saying. I mean, over the past couple of years, the disruptions due to conflicts in various parts of the world, and before that, the pandemic has sort of forced our sights and our attention to the importance of supply chain resilience. And since then, countries and regional associations, including ASEAN, have moved resolutely towards building supply chain resilience, and that certainly holds true now as we head towards the meetings in Manila, the foreign ministers meetings, and later this year, the ASEAN summitries. There's a lot of complementation and I think convergence of interests on this point. Both India and ASEAN countries have huge amounts of mineral deposits, raw materials. Both are good. Both have very robust and strong sectors that produce intermediate goods. Both have technologies to utilize this, whether as for further processing or as end users. And I think this complementation should be cultivated, brought to bear, and I think it can only enhance ASEAN and India's range of alternatives and options, reducing our dependence on traditional partners. I mean, whether just a single power or just a limited set of countries. I mean, the more the better, I think, is the principle that's at work here. So yes.
Yeah. Talking about the defense relationship, we know that BrahMos missile acquisition has become a defining milestone in the relationship. Where do you see the scope of expanding defense relationship, maybe interoperability, defense industrial cooperation, more exercises? How do you see the cooperation, sir?
Well, yeah, thank you. In fact, we see that happening even as we speak, no? But the BrahMos was a very good opening, and it's an important high point. I have to say that the expansion of our defense relationship with India started over a decade ago. You know, when, for instance, we signed the defense equipment. The defense cooperation agreement, but certainly the defense equipment cooperation blossomed more recently in recent years, and the BrahMos is the high example of that. And now, with India showing how its indigenous defense industry has just grown in capabilities, in the range of products, reliable goods that it can deliver. India has become one of the top of mind potential providers, for the Philippines. So when our defense establishment, when our military draws up its needs, its shopping list, if I may call it so, among our traditional partners, now India has joined the ranks of those partners. So routinely, we now receive officials from defense and the military to look at these capabilities and to look at possibilities for sourcing. So yes, India is now present in our minds when we look at our acquisition plans.
And how has this capability strengthened Philippines' deterrence postures in the West Philippine Sea? We have been seeing tensions in the South China Sea. So.
Yeah, well, I think for some time now, what we have said about the BrahMos is that it's giving us credible deterrence. The Philippines' goal has always been defense-oriented, but also to build not just deterrence but credible deterrence. And the BrahMos gives us that with its speed, with its range. From a purely operational perspective, in military terms, perhaps it bestows on the Philippines some measure of anti-access, and area denial, that kind of capability now also raises for any potential aggressor, the costs of such action. So it sort of reconfigures operational, the calculus when it comes to that kind of conflict. But we don't want to get there. The Philippines has always been a peace-loving country. We've always said that we're a friend to all, an enemy to none. But it goes without saying that every country must look to its own defenses, and the BrahMos bestows us that capability.
Yeah.
Among others, of course, there's a broader range of capabilities that we are developing, but certainly the BrahMos is an important aspect of that.
Talking about the ASEAN meetings, today only we saw the tweet by US Ambassador to India is traveling to Manila with Secretary Rubio. Secretary Rubio will also be there. What message does Manila believe this engagement sends at a time of increasing tensions in the Indo-Pacific?
Well, when the Quad members, the four countries, are all very important partners of the Philippines. Now all of the U.S. is a treaty ally, and the three are strategic partners of the Philippines. I think what the Quad meeting taking place in Manila this week, as our good friend Ambassador Gore has announced, is a very welcome signal. In a period of instability and uncertainty, the Quad foreign ministers meeting again just a couple of months since their last meeting in Delhi shows the resolve of the grouping and their determination to make an impactful contribution to address the problems of our time, arising from current geopolitical concerns. So it's a very welcome development, and we look forward to the outcomes of that meeting.
Do you expect any outcome on maritime safety, freedom of navigation, particularly in the light of developments in the South China Sea?
I mean, certainly that is our hope. We have welcomed the Quad Foreign Minister statement of May 2026, and there's a lot of references to the regional concerns, the sources of regional tension that are top of mind now, certainly including the South China Sea. And if the foreign ministers are meeting again, certainly they cannot be issuing the same statement. I mean, so there should be some build up on that, and we look forward with anticipation as to what progress they will signal on those issues.
Right. Ambassador, India is also seeking a non-permanent seat at UNSC. It has announced its bid for 2028-2029. How can New Delhi count on Manila for its support?
I think so. Normally, decisions on candidatures like this are made known or intimated closer to the voting. But I think, if I may call it so, a source of optimism, if not confidence, is the fact that when it comes to UN Security Council issues, the Philippines and India have a meeting of the minds. I mean, we both have the same advocacies and positions, or similar anyway, very similar positions when it comes to UN Security Council reform, membership, whether permanent or non-permanent. And I think on the basis of that, we can see that, or we can expect that the Philippines will consider very favorably India's candidature. But again, just a caveat that decisions about this are firmed up closer to the date.
Right. Just last question, sir. Philippines and India are maritime democracies committed to a free, open, and rule-based Indo-Pacific. How important is cooperation between the two countries to preserve the regional stability and rule-based order?
I cannot overstate it. The Philippines is an advocate of that. India also, and India has shown, great, not just resolve, but also displayed, and demonstrated how it can be a positive influence, responsible actor, and even first responder in the maritime sphere, and that we see in the Arabian Sea, in the Arabian Gulf, or in waters closer to the Horn of Africa, securing the patrols there, rescuing seafarers, including ours actually, for which we are very appreciative. And certainly in our side of the world, is including in the South China Sea, we welcome India's presence. India has with the Philippines engaged already in maritime cooperative activities, joint maneuvers, Navy, even our coast guards. And the presence of India, with its growing weight as a rising power, but not just a power, but a positive, responsible power, is something that's very welcome in an area, in a sphere, the maritime sphere specifically, where we want to see actions that are only and always based on the rule of law and are adherent to international law, including UNCLOS. So it's good to have India there, very manifestly and concretely demonstrating not just the words that it utters, but also by its actions, showing that it's ready to play a positive role in the maritime sphere. So we look forward to enhancing this cooperation more and more.
Just a follow-up question, since you are a very important maritime country, how do you see the current situation in the West Asia? It has been more than 9 days since the attack have been resumed from both sides. So any comment? How does Philippines look at it?
Well, of course, we view it with concern. I mean, at several levels. Of course, you would prefer that countries always resolve differences peacefully rather than by force. Situations and tensions and conflicts like this inflict collateral harm on civilians, on innocent seafarers, affects our commercial cargo. But I think it goes without saying that the conflict has such a great impact economically, geoeconomically, geopolitically, that ultimately affects, the grassroots. The effect trickles down to our ordinary citizens in terms of food prices, access to cooking gas, and all these. And so we view it with concern, and we would hope that the parties would be able to find, come to a meeting of minds and find a peaceful resolution, and hopefully soon, and a resolution that holds.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.